making a video on updates on my CNA class. Okay, so I have this notes that I've been taking, the academic course. I really feel that I'll be able to pass, but I'm going to have to do more studying for sure. And the clinical skills exam, I feel pretty sketchy about it, whether I'm going to be able to pass or not. I hope and praying to God every day since I've been going to school, 2 hours a day to get to class, taking an hour and a half sometimes to even get on the paratransit to get to even this clinicals. I have about 3 more days left. The day that we missed on Monday, we get credit for. And so I'm going to be finishing up these classes, probably have maybe a day or two to either relax or probably just study more and then take the test, and then the next day I'll probably take the exam test, the clinicals part, which is, how to feed the patient, how to make the bed, and so on. I'm hoping because to pass it the first try, because I think it's like both tests together is like $170 or something like that. Pro Medic is the institution that actually creates the test, and so yeah, it's just about $120, $130, roughly about $120, $130 to pass to take the test, and I cannot afford to fail any of this, because if I pass one and I fail the other, then I have to take both again. So I'm just kind of really excited, but I'm just really kind of nervous to try to pass this, because the class has been, in my opinion, has been taught so poorly. And like, I'm watching these videos on nursing assistants on how to do the clinicals part, and there's a lot of steps that weren't even told to us in class, and it's just been so poorly taught with the intention to not allow me to pass, to not be successful in this class. If, God blessing, I'm able to get this simple CNA certificate, and I pass the clinicals and I pass the exam test, don't know whether yet if I'm going to apply to work for a couple of weeks. Someone had mentioned to me, which is like a PRN, which is call-on basis. So what they'll do is like I'll fill out an application, and they'll just call me to a nursing home whenever they need me, like whatever, 2 days, 3 days, a few hours, or 8 hours, 3 days a week, to earn a little bit of money before I start the next class, which will be a patient care technician. So that I have those skills, so that I can able to work in many different environments and get the experience that I would like. When I work in these CNA environments, because the patient care technician and the CNA are mostly almost exactly the same. So what happens is like the patient care technician, I believe, does more of the hospital type stuff. The CNA deals with doesn't do as much as vital. So the reason I want the patient care technician is because I need that training to make me that much more better of a certified nursing assistant. To my understanding, a certified nursing assistant tends to be in a lot of cases even better than the patient care technician, but you can't really work in hospitals. You can work in hospitals they'll hire you as a patient care technician with a CNA license, and they'll teach you on site, to my understanding. But that's kind of sketchy, because you won't actually have a certificate. When I go and apply at jobs, I'll just have to say I have patient care technician. I worked as a patient care technician at this hospital, but I don't have a certificate, but I have a CNA, and it's just really not that legitimate. And so that is not saying what to expect whenever I get to that job site. Like, just say I'm a certified nursing assistant, and I apply at a nursing home or rehabilitation center, or I apply at Parkland Hospital. Well, since Parkland is Parkland Hospital is the largest hospital in the world, I think, or one of the largest hospitals in the U.S. and I think in the world. So if I were to work there as a patient care technician and they hire me as a CNA, I'll get to work in that environment, which would be really great. But there's no telling what to expect when I get there. Like, even though I pass all the tests, I don't know how the nurse is going to be. I don't know what the staff is going to be like. I don't really know what I'm going to expect when I'm there, which is a whole nother issue in itself of, my employment as I'm working there. But my dream is to become a licensed vocational nurse. It's not a registered nurse, which is like an RN, which is like a 4-year degree, but in licensed vocational nurse is a 12 to 18 month program. Now, I have to pass the TSI, which is an academic test that Richland College has. It's a reading and math. If I pass both of them, then I don't have to take prerequisition courses. Prerequisites or prerequisition, I'm not sure exactly if they're the same thing, but basically it puts me at college ready. If I do not pass it, then I have to take a whole semester of like math. So what I'll probably do if I can't pass it is I'll probably just keep trying to take the test until eventually, I study at home, because I know I can pass the reading, but as far as it goes with the math, I'll have to probably rehearse a lot of the GED material of mathematics so that I can learn how to pass the math and I don't have to take a full semester. So I'll probably, because the last time I took the TSI test was like 5 months ago, 4 months ago. It was about 5 months ago, and I failed it with just like a few questions. So that was really good. But the reason I didn't want to go ahead and take it because I really don't know what the outcome of my future is going to be, because I don't know, residence, my school, all that kind of stuff. So it's better for me to get a certificate and then go take the prerequisition courses. I was told there's like 3 or 4. In order to register as a nurse or an LVN, you have to take some other prerequisition courses, which is like biology and biology, microbiology, and then a few other, like 2 other courses to even enroll into the licensed vocational nurse. I'll be a nurse, just not a registered nurse with a 4-year degree, which is my dream. My dream is to be it may take me a while, but that's really far down the road. Right now, I'm just focused, and my goals is to get this certified nursing assistant and enroll in a patient care technician, and get the experience I need on site. I'm not really concerned so much of the pay rate as much what that experience will be like, working in different atmospheres, because every certified nursing assistant atmosphere is different. Like, you could work in the same job title, same position, different nursing homes, and they're all going to be different. Some of them have different types of skill sets and equipment, and so on. So it's going to take me a pretty good minute. So right now I'm just looking at videos, and I'm really just upset because I know that this class is easy, and I know this class is very simple, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It's just the way and the authenticity of whoever has been ordering this class. I passed the quizzes that I took online that the college requested that all the students had to take. I passed all of them. I passed the final 60 question 90-minute, which is pretty much exactly like the real test. I passed it with an 87. I made an 87. I just missed a few questions, and I did really good on it. So that's very good on that. But as far as the skills test, that's more what I'm worried about, that I'm going to go and not pass the test because there were some steps that I missed out on, because of all these notes right here that I took were completely refined, but it turns out that a lot of this I have to refine the notes, because what's happened is I'm being told a lot of misinformation. You have to understand, if I was in the class complaining all the time, if I was complaining, but I don't say anything, I don't speak very much to be able to say, okay, this is what's going on, because I just want to get through this class, I want to be successful, and I want to be able to work on a job site and pass the exams. That's my most focus on. So I'm really excited. My dream, I'm like, dear God, Lord God, if you could allow me to go to nursing school, oh my God, like, oh my God, I mean, if I could go to nursing school, it would be unbelievable miracle. But that is really far down the road. That is far, far down the road for me. It's really too far for me to sort of just start thinking and dreaming of that too much right now. Is I have to just take small baby steps, focus on what I can do, and focus on the best that is possible. I'm hoping that everything. I got a few more days. There's a few things that are kind of suspicious when I'm in clinicals, which is I work at an assistant living facility. There's 3 different scopes of practices, which is like what I'm allowed to do within the care facilities of a certified nursing assistant. Certified nursing assistants are certified to work in rehabilitation centers, nursing homes, and assisted living. Assisted living is where I'm working, or where I'm basically just kind of working and being around the atmosphere of clinicals. And basically I'm around people that have heavy dementia and various different types of mental illnesses, where they're really old, they can't take care of themselves, some are in wheelchairs. And I can tell you this, the material and the books and the education, I love it. I really do love it. What I do not like is the persecution and hatred, and just when you have so many people and you just have to just sort of, what Jesus said, just turn the cheek and let him deal with the harm that they do, is kind of the way that I sort of try to deal with it. A lot of personal things that are being brought up to me. It is so intense at times, because they're bringing up my biological father. I don't even know if my biological father's still alive. If he's still alive, let's just say he had dementia and I don't even know it. He wouldn't even know who I am. And this is the father that cried when he found that his daughter died, and when he was chuckling tears over the phone with me, and he spoke to me and basically was ran off out of my life. And he had no choice but to make his own life in the way that he did. And Michaela, this is very important for you to listen. Please be careful out there. I pray to God, that the Holy Spirit really protects you, and you have some really good people around you, because I can never explain how many people are consistently, they're sending people and to break everything. If it's not sexual, it's your family, it's your friends, it's to send bad people around you to put you in submission, to put you in a state of mind either against me and for them. Although I ignore it, because these individuals some of them are in the class, especially a teacher, they really believe that they're that person. They think that, oh, that's Madison Cooper right there representing Ken Cooper who died. Oh, she's going to take over my mother, and she's taken over Hector, who my biological father is, and over my dead sister. Oh, no, it's Olivia, and it goes on and on and on and on. But I just really just ignore it as much as I can. It's as difficult as this is, at least in that part. I know I would love this job. I mean, I'm built for this type of work, and but that's not to say what I'm going to expect at the job sites. There's so many different types of job sites. Assisted living is usually the harder, in my opinion. I haven't been to rehabilitation or nursing homes. We're working in an assisted living, which is like a nursing home, which is people coming in, and it seems kind of suspicious because it seems like at least maybe at least one of these people, I don't think could possibly be mentally ill. It could be pretending. But they're still shooting me with electronic devices inside the building. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't like prejudice. I really don't. But that's exactly what this is. It's the transgenders and gays versus Hector, and that's it. And it becomes very personal because my father's not alive. There was a lot of money that was stolen, and these people are trying to rearrange the identity who Raymond Palomo is and who he was and how he was toward me, what his intentions was. My biological mother, Frankie and Julian, are the only people and myself that can speak on behalf of his existence, and those were her. My little brother Julian wasn't even around very much before my dad was in. He barely even knew who he was. Me and Frankie would be entitled to that conversation, and that did not go well through the history of what's happened in my family. My mom's identical sister, triplet sisters, they don't know who he is. They don't know anything about him. They weren't married to him. They weren't a part of our life ever. So it becomes a very big entanglement because, I can tell you this is not a war that I'm going to win when it comes to that, because the President of the United States and his people have ordered to steal whatever they want. And I can't do anything about that. No matter how much injustice this is, and what I did, what my intentions were, and all the evidence that I could have shown isn't going to matter. Not only is that this old man died for somebody else's cause and laughter and fun, but there's not going to be any justice. And I personally have to leave this to Jesus and God to protect me from all the people, from this situation and from all the people that are putting me down, saying, you're not going to go to school. We're going to make it as difficult as we can. We're going to harass you where you live. We're going to threaten you in every which way that this is going to be psychologically and very deep psychology in every way we can. And they're there to scavenge for very bad things in this house. I could never make enough videos, like this guy's driving this guy that's been harassing me since I've lived here, who thinks he's Kenneth Cooper and fighting for him, and that's why he's here, has shown up to Popeye's Chicken following me, has shown up following me when I'm walking down the street taunting, about my dad's sister. My biological father used to drive the same car as him, so they're playing all these psychological games. Michaela, you're probably going to want to know that. I don't think you would like to know, even if I wasn't a part, if he's still alive. I don't believe my biological father's still alive. He might be. I would have dreamed and hoped to have met this man and being able to have a normal conversation with this individual, because he knows who my father was, and he knows that he left me to this man. He had no choice. And the wrongdoing that would happen to him in his life was because of what had happened to me and what had happened with this whole meeting Michael Jackson and the rapes and all this other stuff that had happened. There's no telling what type of suffering, but I can say this, the life would have been much more beautiful and pleasant had it not been for Kenneth Cooper's team. So, but like I said, there's nothing I can do other than pray to Jesus, pray to God that everything goes successful, and I just have to focus on this school. And I'm hoping also maybe sometime before the end of next year, which is in a whole 15 months from now, I'll get to work at UT Southwestern Medical Center, Zale Lipsy. It's not called, I don't think it's called Zale Lipsy anymore, but it is where I had my bone marrow transplant, where I nearly died and had a blood transfusion that my little brother donated, and I know that it's almost been 20 years, but it would definitely be a very visiting experience to to work in the same hospital where I had my life changed forever when I was only 23 years old. And nobody knew the stories of how tired I was and the things that were happening to me within a year to 2 years prior to me being sick, until I finally went to the doctor and they told me what was wrong. But like I said, I want to stick to this. My dream is to complete this school. It's going to be a long road, but day to day praying so that I can fulfill a new career and that's not involved in the entertainment world, and not pursuing something that I'm being forced and beaten on. It's very difficult when you feel like if I don't agree with this, with what these people are training me and telling me to do that has nothing to do with medical, then a violent assault will be placed on me again. A death warrant will be placed personally by one of these people, and it's very frightening when you're dealing with something like that, because it's happened on a number of occasions. The police department won't get involved. There's a high level of corruption, and I am doing this for my mother as well. So I already have my certificate that I got ready to print it on if I pass it, and a frame so that I can better my life and have a new career. But I do not know what to expect when I get to a job site. I really don't. There's a few things I could think of that why they're not going to, what they'll do to not allow me to work there. But I try not to focus on that right now. I have to just focus on what I can on the positive and what I can do. Since I've been at this assisted facility at clinicals, the best, I don't know who trains these psychologists or tell these people to do these things, the students, but it's with that very intention toward the deceased little girl and my mother, my biological father, Michaela, and me personally. Who gets the money, who's going to get the credit, how they're going to transfer the emotions, and how to justify for what they want. And it is disposing of my father, it's disposing of this little girl, it's disposing my entire life to their benefits. They know how to do it. And you don't understand, when somebody has a lot of animosity, they will find very dark, evil, dark things to do mentally to go after their victims. And that's a lot of what this feels. Everything that's sort of been mentioned slightly to the murder attempt that was placed on me, 10 years ago, when I ended up with fractured ribs and covered in blood showing up to my mother's front doorstep, to the psychologist telling, my mother exactly what to say to justify it. It's very difficult as well, because it's not my mother, it's my mother's identical triplet has put me down to not go to school and not to do anything in that medical field, and every way imaginable. It's the most unsupportive thing, and my biological mother would have never ever done that. My mother was not like that, and I know my biological mother would have been very happy. She would have been very happy and smiling, and would have wanted me to do this. But like I said, when you have identical triplets and they make up their own personalities, who my mother was, and they weren't there, and I don't hate them, it's because they're trying to survive and better their lives, and whoever is spending all this money can steal anything they want and take anything they want, and there's no questions that anybody can ask them. Nobody's going to stop them. The psychologist saying, oh, okay, just, put some poison in his food, oh, okay, I'll just do that, because I want to, they can do anything they want. But I pray, the Holy Spirit, to protect my life, from anybody wanting to do this. When you come across a lot of bad people, you're going to find the worst monsters that are really bad. You cannot get a group of people, and, when somebody tries to say, something about my biological father or Michaela or my dead sister or Raymond Palomo, there was nobody closer to him than all of his kids. I was there the entire time, and these people show up in grocery stores and they start trying to impersonate him, thinking that that's who he was and what he did and what he wanted, and that's what completely just hog shit it out of their ass. They don't care. They don't have a genuine care of love, of empathy and understanding that they even want to put forward. It's like, okay, this is what we got to do in order to steal what we want next. And it's like much of the mentality, with distributing behaviors in front of me to make me angry and stay in a negative place and frustrated. And I always try to ignore it, but that is what's happening. It doesn't change that that's the output that's happening. So it's a very nasty war. Very nasty. It's a very nasty war. It's a very bad that Hector's not going to go to school. Hector's not going to go to school. Every word that comes out of their mouth is with that intention to de-influence me, to deny me the rights of going to school and being successful in education. Since day one, everything. I mean, you think these people want to be your friend. They're not my friends, and they don't have intentions with that. It's darker intentions behind the scenes of what's going on, because the damage has already been done, and this affects me, not them. It's just they just take off. Okay, good. That's where you go, and then get rid of that worthless lives that I want to. And that's the mentality of it. It's very discerning. When I'm working inside this assisted living center, I come across people that are very old and used to have very full lives, and now it's the process of aging, and their families have left them there, and some of them that have been beyond rehabilitation. There's no way this person could survive in any environment living out homeless on the streets. And it definitely makes you think of God. It makes you think of appreciated of life. It makes you want to make the world a better place. It makes you fulfill a purpose that God, and more think of my, what do I want to do, and what I'm allowed to do, and the importance of my own life. And every channel I turn on to, this YouTube, I can never explain the hatred from every celebrity to every single person. I mean, I'm literally getting on the bus, and somebody will, I'll be sitting there quietly, either listening to some music or watching an interview or some clinicals, classes, or reading something on my phone, and I won't be doing anything. And then I hear look at somebody that may look exactly how I know, and I know they're not there by accident. They know who I am, and they'll go and they'll do that, and they'll electrocute the shit out of me, and I have no idea why. And I just feel like a jolt, like somebody's just tasering me with an awful, toxic, violent, physical violence of abuse. But like I said, I'm trying, and I'm not just trying, but I'm going to pursue. I'm going to pursue my happiness. I'm going to pursue this happiness and my goals, my dreams to become a licensed vocational nurse. It is going to be very challenging. I mean, to me, it's like a Harvard degree. To me, that's like a Harvard degree to get a licensed vocational nurse, because the things that I had to go through. I wish that somebody that cared enough could hear the conversations and hear the details with a genuine understanding. The words that these people were saying at times when I'm in the car with them, and when the Uber picks me up, or whenever the paratransit driver starts saying things and behaving like certain situations, what that hatred is really like, what that targeting is really like. With them working as a team, it's very prejudiced, because much of this murder attempt that was placed on me many years ago was done by the black community. And so every black person that comes into this is like hatred. Like early this morning, there's a guy that looks like Barack Obama driving a paratransit car, and the behavior and everything, because no, you're okay, and he's just like, Like, no, we beat your fucking ass and just get in the fucking car. Like, you know, this is the president. Like, they don't care. This is not a conversation of politeness. It becomes a very prejudiced racial war. That skin color versus this skin color versus that skin color for that team. And it becomes very difficult because they're not rationalizing. You know, when I'm in class, there's not any rationalizing to, you know, if somebody told me their story, I would not join a team inside to say, oh, you know what, I don't like you, you're one of them. I would be like, even if they were transgender again, I'd be like, that's a wrong thing that somebody did to you. And that's a really bad thing. I feel bad for you that you go, you probably deserve this and you deserve that and you deserve to follow, you know, a career path that you choose to want to without somebody telling you can't. You should be able to go to school. And I would genuinely be this way. But it's not that way with them at all. And, you know, there's been some positive things that they've said a few times, but, you know, if the class isn't legitimate, then how much of it can I trust? You know, it's a very big gamble that I can even take this class and be successful in passing. But I don't think I would get the full experience of the CNA until I work in a rehabilitation center. I've already worked in an assistant, which is clinicals, in a nursing home. So I would probably work in another assisting facility because it would actually be on the payroll and it would be in a different environment other than clinicals, to get the full rounded experience. But there's things that we haven't been practicing on in class. We are supposed to learn how to be charting. We got 3 days left of class, and there's not been one time that I've been learned how to do charting on the patients. So, like when they use a restroom, with nutrition, all this great stuff, information, I know I would be very beautifully graced by Jesus to be able to do this, and I know that I am, where I can be like the residents would love for me to be in a position to be in this type of position, because the nature of how I do things in work environments, and I really feel that I should be able to pursue, you know, my dreams in school and education and not be abused and suffer and be in fear to start agreeing with whatever they want because out of just fear. One of some of the regrets that people have, I've read this in books before, was where a person went to the death side of several people, thousands of people, by Raymond Moody, and this is like the top 10 regrets that people have, and one of the top, I think, 5 is, I wish I would have been able to have the courage to live the life that I wanted as opposed to live the life that people told me to live and did it by fear. The same position that I'm in, that not having the courage to pursue licensed vocational nurse because of the fear of what they're doing to me, because of the fear and not having the courage of retaliation. And they will retaliate. You know, it's very frightening. I mean, it gets more deeper and frightening than I can actually express on video. But you know, I think that, you know, it is. You know, I wish you could understand the level of animosity that's. They're so keen, because I've never been personally interested in a person's life that was a stranger to me, that I wanted to eventually just go after in every detail, that I knew their personal life. I mean, to just sit there and study an individual parasitically, like sucking the life and blood out of a human being, and enjoy just for the selfish and greed of yourself. I mean, this doesn't affect you. Why can't you just be positive, and say you should be able to go. You're going to make it in school. You should be able to get, not allow people to tell you're going to have to go to an entertainment field of music and DJing, or it should be, Hector, God created all of us equal, and we're living in the United States, and you should be able to go to college freely. You should be able to continue with an education and not pursue what people are telling you to do out of fear. Drop out of because of fear. So many people in the service have died for this type of freedom, and you're not even allowed to. In a lot of ways, that's disrespecting that decision. Life is really short, and here you had a bone marrow transplant, and you can really share a lot of beautiful stories and work in an environment. Don't let people like that put you down, and just keep trying. I've never had anybody do that. Not one time, ever. Not even close to that. Anyway, I'm going to get back to watching these videos and studying, and I'm just like, I gotta pass his clinicals. I gotta pass both the tests. To make this successful, because there's a long road ahead. I got about a month of free time to do some part-time work as a CNA before I get into this patient care technician class, and that is in far south Dallas. That is a very far trip. It's like an hour and a half on a Uber car. No, it's like an hour and a half. It's like an hour and a half, I think, or if not more, on a paratransit, and I think a Uber Lyft. Right now, it takes me about 30 minutes from here to get to clinicals, because sometimes they pick me up in a Uber car, and but from here to get to the location, it's a 45-minute, 50-minute drive to Cedar Valley College campus, which is a very far drive. So, and I think it's a 12-week course. It's 4 to 5 days. I think it's only 4 days, but I think it could be 5 days, but it's the same times, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I may have an extra day to do 5 days a week, but that greatly increased my abilities. So I got to really get these all this weekend. I'm just going to be watching these clinicals to make sure I get the steps right and to be able to be successful, and because there's 20 something skills I have to learn, like 21, 22 skills. They're only going to choose 3. One is going to has to be a measurement skill, which one of them is going to be a measurement skill, which means something I'm going to have to do is going to have to require me measuring something, whether that's reading the pulse, respirations, urinary catheter, which is like you have to count the amount of urine that is in the bag and write it down on a sheet, do that whole step process. But like I said, I have to refine my notes on here. Like I have to completely refine it, because when it says feeding the patient, it said that we're supposed to feed him at least 3 spoons of food, and then offer them something to drink. And they didn't say that in class at all. I mean, there's like 50% of this thing is being flat, like the intention to not make me pass this class. Like, I know if I was in a really good environment, I'd pass these classes and clinicals with a straight A, easy. But I got to get to studying and rehearse these clinicals and try to remember them, because all this weekend, that's all I'm going to be doing. Because I have Monday, Tuesday, and then I'll probably wait a day or two, study more, and then take the test. And I'll post the videos and updates on this YouTube or Facebook channel, the results of the test and updates, and everything that's kind of going on. If I passed the first test, if I failed it the second time, and so on, and what my grades were. And I'll also go over the questions. I don't know if they'll tell me which ones I got wrong, but I'll probably go over that as well. Which questions I got wrong, what I could have done better, what I thought of those questions, and why I replied to those answers to those questions. And hopefully this helps. So God bless, and licensed vocational nurse.